Hello everybody and welcome to another exciting episode of X-Men Mayhem. This week we review Deadpool and Wolverine.
X-Men.
Hello everybody and welcome to X-Men Mayhem. I am your host, Darien.
I'm your other host, Landon.
And today we're going to get into the movie that we just watched. It is currently 2 o'clock in the morning.
Is it really?
I am tired as all get out.
Okay.
And he says that, but he's falling asleep like it. 30 minutes ago.
Yeah, 30 minutes ago I was just like, dude, I'm pooped. I'm out.
We
We saw a late showing.
Yeah, this is your fault.
Yeah.
9:45.
We were freaking out about tickets, and you know.
Yeah, 2 Deadpool and Wolverine, packed theater for the most part.
Yes.
There are people sitting in the front row. I don't know what they saw.
0.3 camera angle. Like I don't know what you showing.
But you can see from the desk, and I have a second one here to show off better. We got the popcorn bucket. You see, you can do that. Get the popcorn
things.
out. Yeah.
Also used for popcorn.
Yeah, so it says designed by Deadpool. Also used for popcorn. Can also be used for popcorn.
Mm-hmm.
Wolverine.
Looking happy.
Yeah. Pretty nice
Here.
metal.
Can you swallow that mic?
Yes.
Yeah,
I don't know. You guys could
perfect mic covering as well.
But yeah, we picked those. Landon picked those up on Thursday, and today's Friday. They were recording this.
They sold out.
Yeah.
Everything they had sold out. It was crazy.
So I guess we get into it. I mean, what were you expecting going into this? We've watched 13 movies to prepare for this movie.
Yeah. Let's ask the big question. Do you need to watch all 13 movies?
No.
You do not.
But
I guess you appreciate it more.
I had the moments. And were there any characters that we inadvertently prepared for one of them?
Yeah. Spoilers, by the way.
Yes, this is all spoilers. This is a spoiler review of Deadpool and Wolverine.
Mm.
Cameos, not a lot, but I mean there are a lot, but not really. One of them, the first one was really good. But anyway, is there a character in this movie that appeared that you didn't think you were well equipped to understand whenever they showed up?
Like, what do you mean? Like, was shocked? Really? No.
Okay.
I know.
Did you catch on to...
If we didn't do this podcast and constantly talk about the rumors, ideas, and, you know, hey, this might be happening, I think I might have been more shocked, but...
Well, I'm saying more like...
If there was one that...
If you were prepared, like, for example, there was a guy in the movie, cannot remember his name. I do remember his name. His name was Azazel. And he was in the movie. There's like a red demon guy, and he could teleport. And he was from X-Men First Class.
Yeah.
Nightcrawler's dad or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Him showing up. Only ones that I didn't like. 100. I mean, there's really not much to like not get. It was just Elektra and like Bullseye was there. A version of Bullseye was there in Cassandra Nova's compound. But,
it wasn't what's his face? He plays Colin Farrell.
Yeah, it wasn't him.
Now,
the Russian from the Punisher movie that we watched was in it. And they also mentioned that Punisher.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, mentioned how he died.
Yeah.
Now, I'd say the biggest cameo, I'd say the most one that shocked me, both tied. Wesley Snipes' Blade. Yeah. I think a part of me felt like he wasn't going to show because it's just the history with him and Ryan. Second one is Chris Evans as Human Torch.
Yeah.
That was a good surprise because...
Well, that one was a good tease because he was like, oh my God, he's the greatest hero ever. And he was like talking about all this stuff and he's saying all this and he's like, I'm like, who is this? Mm-hmm. And then he like jumps down and does the landing. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what is going on? And he was, and
You see like red gloves and like a blue something.
Yeah. And he takes his like thing off as Chris Evans, and everyone's like, "Oh my god!" And he goes, Deadpool thought it was Captain America, and he was getting ready to say something, and then Deadpool was like, "Oh my god, he's gonna say it! Avengers Assemble!" And he goes, "Flame on!" And
flies in the air.
Deadpool's like, "What?"
He goes full fire. He starts flying. Pyro comes in, sucks it up. I thought he died. Because he falls, hits his nuts,
and then he falls and hits his neck.
Yeah, and I thought he like snapped or something. And he died.
Nope.
But no, he was alive.
But we're skipping ahead a lot. So this movie starts with a the Marvel intro's fun. It's Deadpool singing the thing. And he's making some jokes about how Disney bought Fox, and now blah blah blah. And it starts off in the forest. He's like, I know the big question. What are you going to do at the end of Logan? Are you going to treat it with respect? He said, in short, no. And he just starts digging up
his grave, pulls out, and he has like a breakdown.
Yeah, because Deadpool's Wolverine. I guess Wolverine's dead.
Yeah, so and he turns to him. He's just like, yeah, sorry, I freaked out. Turns to the right. You see it's this freaking adamantium skeleton body. You like decayed over time.
And the TVA show up then.
Yeah.
And in the forest, and he takes the pieces of. He was going to use this thing that killed him, the wood spike, and instead he takes the pieces of the skeleton and ends up beating the entire, destroying all of these TVA agents in very gruesome ways. There's one kill he didn't use his sword with, where he takes and he bounces the sword up and stab the guy. A lot of good. That was the intro. I mean, what did you?
If there is one thing I am disappointed about, they didn't do like how the other two intros were, where it like say something like a douchebags film, written by a bunch of idiots, morons, or something. It was like real titles. Like I was disappointed with that. I was hoping to see that again because I always enjoyed that. But no, the kills were pretty cool. They were really creative. Best part was with, I kept waiting. I was like, when's he going to get to this part? And he attaches the skeleton, or his, Wolverine skeleton arms with the claws, and he retracts them and has the claw. It's really dope.
And that's when it does the flashback to...
like a couple days ago? Or like a day ago?
It goes back to 2018, or whenever, the time when he was time travel. Yeah. And he time travels back. You get a first cameo, which was Happy Hogan. And they mentioned Tony Stark, and he's Deadpool trying to join the Avengers, and Happy's like, no.
And the reason why he's trying to join is he wants to mean something.
Yeah, because Vanessa doesn't think what he's doing is meaningful.
Yeah, at all.
So not the baby route that you thought.
No, I really thought I was going to have a hardcore opening, like kind of similar to 2 was.
No. So you get that. You get a fun scene with him and Happy, which was cool. A lot of references in behind him. I picked up on one, because while they were talking, while Deadpool was at the doorway and he was standing there, I was looking at everything in the background. And it was the Iron Man helmet that was sitting there. It's the same one that little kid was wearing in Iron Man 2.
Yeah, 2.
Which also, coincidentally enough, was the helmet that was covering up Peter Parker's face. Yeah. And the rumor is that kid was Peter Parker. Mm-hmm. So
didn't they confirm that?
I don't know.
Can't remember.
And then behind him there was the briefcase from Iron Man 2, and there was a statue, which you probably didn't notice, of this weird inverted loop thing.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah, it's the
time. It's the Mobius loop.
Oh, it's the Mobius.
The one that he invented. Tony Stark.
Oh yeah, for the time. Yeah. So okay.
Is that he had a statue of it, and then there's the Captain America shield prototype behind.
That was in Iron Man 2. Yeah.
Behind Happy, when you're sitting there, were Agent Coulson's Captain America trading cards. Mm-hmm. And the War Machine helmet was back there, or the silver Iron Man helmet. There's another one. I don't remember what the other one was, but there was other stuff. I was just catching on all the little references and whatever. Right. But you get that. He goes off, celebrates his birthday, and he meets up with Peter. He gets a job at
car dealership.
Yeah. and meets up with Peter. Peter's there. He's not really liking his life, but he's not Deadpool anymore. Has his birthday, makes a wish, and meets all and on the cake or whatever, and everybody's there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to remember. It's the scene with Peter having the nipple ring thing that went down.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. Well, he says he's like, yeah, I like knew a guy, and he had that. It was super cool. And like he says he like has one.
um, but then
who like someone tugs on it. He's like, oh.
yeah, he said that's the
funny.
fun part.
Yeah, that's the fun part.
But you get your cocaine joke or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So after this, the TVA show up and to get him for what he did.
Mm-hmm.
And so they take Deadpool to the TVA. Wakes up, you meet Mr. Paradox, who was actually a really good villain, even though he's like a side villain.
Yeah,
I thought he was really good.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of like working in the lower levels of the TVA,
Mm-hmm.
where they're not really paid attention to.
Yeah.
Interesting. Also, this is skipping ahead, but it's fine. B-15, which I mean that's all they called her in Loki, so I don't know what it's called. She is running the TVA now.
That's what it looked like, or at least manages all the other.
Because I mean, Mobius is gone. He wasn't really managing it anyway.
Yeah.
And she's, I guess running it. I don't know. But she does show up in the movie a few times, which is cool. I mean, what were your thoughts on the whole TVA stuff that was going on in the movie?
No, I mean I thought it was very interesting what they were doing. I am assuming B-15 now.
Sorry, there's something in the cup. I don't know what that is. It's plastic.
Maybe who knows?
Look,
Drink some. Okay. I don't know what that is. Well,
anyway,
drink it. Why not?
Line's trying to kill me.
Anyways, I'm assuming she's just maybe she's head of the whole TVA, or also my idea is she's just like what do you call it? Like she just runs the different parts of it. Like there we go, tired. Right, like just manages the different sections of it. And these guys are like underground. They're doing some, I guess, considered illegal.
Yeah,
I guess for their thing.
It's so they get Deadpool and they need him to show him what's going on. And they introduce the big part that would probably have more implications in the overall universe in this scene, which is anchor beings. Mm-hmm. There's a certain being in every universe, and if they die, the universe will slowly start to just fade away. Which we talked about this in the podcast a while back.
They're the main character.
Yeah, we talked about this on the podcast a while back about this as being a rumor. Ended up being true. That Wolverine was the anchor being of Deadpool's universe, the Fox X-Men universe.
Yeah.
And once Wolverine died, the universe died, which is also true in real life. And so you get the whole thing where he's like, listen, I need you either to stay and let your whole world die, and you die with them, or you join a better world and leave them to die. And he's talking about joining the MCU, and he gets Deadpool all excited. So he gets that scene where he comes up to the camera real quick. He's like, "Hold on," and he runs up to the camera. And he was like, "Suck it, Fox! I'm going to Disney World." And
yeah, pushes the camera. Yeah.
Which was funny. That got the crowd laughing.
Mm-hmm.
So he's basically there and talking to this Paradox guy. He sees the videos. He sees a video of Thor crying over Deadpool's body, and he's like freaking out about that.
Which is a running joke because he's trying to figure out why.
Yeah. And then he goes to the tailor at one point and gets his new suit. And then I can't remember.
Best joke in the movie, I think.
Oh yeah,
just kept slapping him.
Yeah, that was funny. The montage. And then I'm probably going out of order, but eventually he attacks the guy because the guy was like, we want to wipe your whole timeline. They don't want to prune timelines anymore in the TVA, which is what the whole season 2 is about. And he's like, they don't want to do that anymore, but I do. And he was like, I will be the one to get rid of your timeline.
Yeah, and once they see what I did, I'll take charge.
Yeah, and so
we do want to make it clear. Deadpool believes after he's told that Wolverine was the anchor, he believes that he can just grab a whatever Wolverine.
Well, yeah, I was about to get.
Oh, you better get.
That's
the
next
scene.
I
forgot that.
That's the next scene. So he punches Paradox and it breaks his nose, steals his little TemPad, and is flying through the air with the guy that was down there at the bottom, like falling in love with him or something.
Yeah.
He goes through the portal, ends up with Wolverine. I'm in a bar. Wait. Yeah. Was it that?
Yeah, that's that part. But the reason why he's trying to find a Wolverine because he thinks he can just replace it.
Yeah.
And anger will
he ends up in a bar.
Yeah, bar is the first one.
He goes up to the he sees a Wolverine and he calls him. He's got like the big fluffy hair and all that. Yeah. And he's starting to cause a big thing, and the Wolverine gets off of the stool, and he's like comic accurate height.
Yeah,
he's 5 foot.
5'4".
Yeah.
Yeah. How tall is Wolverine? I'm gonna look it up right now.
It was funny, and so Deadpool was like, "Oh, aren't you a cute little Wolverine?"
5'3".
He was just making fun of him. It was funny. And then Deadpool goes back to the portal. He ends up in another universe where this Wolverine, I think was Patch, was the next one, or was it the Apocalypse?
They kind of skip, like, it'll show like the Patch one for a second, then they'll cut, and then later goes back to it. I want to say the Patch one was next.
Yeah, we went to saw Patch at the thing, and
not Daniel Radcliffe. It's just
it wasn't Patch.
It was Patch.
It was one that I somehow forgot about, but it was actually the best one. Where he goes into the forest, Wolverine is there, and he says, "Oh, you look." He was in the brown suit. There you go. Right. Which you also didn't have a reaction for. This is when at the point when I was like, I wonder if he's not liking this movie.
No, I was just like so focused on it. I was like, holy crap, yeah.
But Wolverine is there in the brown suit, and he's like, wow. He's like, wow, you look like you should be fighting the Hulk. And then you hear the roar.
He's like, did he fight the Hulk when you? And it was so cool because he brings out the claw.
And you see the Hulk in
just
it.
Like the comic.
And Deadpool turns around and he's like, listen, I am Marvel H. Jesus, and I will not be... And yeah. And so we talked about that. That would happen. You get that. You get the X-Men Apocalypse, Age of Apocalypse, Wolverine with the one claw thing. And then...
My favorite.
You get the one with all the skulls and then like the X, and he's like up. I don't know what that's a reference to.
I can't remember either, but I thought it was so funny because he's like, the whole time he's like, I'll be back later.
And then you get one working on a motorcycle.
He's like, that's the money shot right there. That's
and
the real one.
He goes up to him. He was like, hey, you look a little bit like Henry Cavill, and it was Henry Cavill as Wolverine.
Yeah.
Zack Snyder's Wolverine.
No Snyder reference, by the way.
There's a DC reference.
There's a DC reference, but not.
He was like, come with me. I'll treat you better than those jerks down the street. Which is technically a Snyder reference. But
that was all of them.
So you get that. All the Wolverines that we saw. He eventually ends up at our Wolverine. He's in a bar. He's drunk. He's depressed. And he passes out. So Deadpool goes to pick him up and notices what he's wearing, and he was like, "Oh, people have been waiting 20 years for those jammies," and pulls him through the portal. He's wearing the yellow suit. The TVA Paradox is like, this Wolverine. You think you can replace him? This Wolverine, he doomed his entire world, and some things aren't forgivable. Or
you got like the worst Wolverine.
Yeah,
I mean,
which we never really. We do find out what he did. That's right. Which is later. He got drunk and was drinking, and during this point, the humans went and killed all the X-Men. And when he got back, it was just, and he said he made it worse because he made the humans do it because he killed people or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's his fault. It's pretty an emotional like connection. That's why he doesn't take the suit off, because it's the only thing that reminds him of them.
Oh yeah.
But you get Wolverine, he wakes up, they get pruned. Then you meet, then you get the fight, first off, which is a really good fight. Pretty short. The best Wolverine Deadpool fight is probably in the van.
Yes.
Which is a really good fight.
I love the conclusion to it.
Oh yeah, we were just
wrapped up with the seatbelts, yeah.
So, you get, them in the void, all stuff. Human Torch is there, we talked about that. Sabretooth shows up. That Wolverine cuts Sabretooth's head off, which unfortunately we had been spoiled by only because of set photos before. But Toad is also there. and Pyro. Mm-hmm. Now, Pyro pulls all the fire off of Human Torch.
Yeah.
That's how he gets
knocked out. Explain why he fell, yeah.
And they mention as Deadpool and Wolverine are captured, Human Torch is alive. They're mentioning that there are other heroes, other rebels or whatever on the outskirts. They also mention the Deadpool Corps at one point, who you meet later at the end of the movie. So going through, they get to Cassandra Nova's place. You see Juggernaut, Azazel, the Russian from Punisher, Psylocke is there, Bullseye, Lady Deathstrike, all that. You meet Cassandra Nova. What did you think of Cassandra Nova?
I thought it was okay. I would like to see more scenes with her, though. I'd say probably best villain that we got from the trilogy. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Probably the best villain we got from the trilogy.
Yeah,
in my opinion. I wish we saw more of her though. I think she we didn't see much as I wish we did.
Yeah.
Everything she was cool. Like I love what
Kang in Quantum.
The CGI stuff with like her with her hand in the face is
freaky.
I loved it though.
That was some Sam Raimi stuff. So she's there. She's kind of crazy. She thanks them for finding Human Torch. And they're talking about how she's Charles Xavier's sister, born in the womb, tried to strangle him, didn't work. And Human Torch, Deadpool is like blaming Human Torch, saying, "Oh, he said this about you, and this, and this, and this, and this," and he's like, "Oh, I never said those things."
I don't know what half of those things are. Yeah.
And then she, in a scene that like made my jaw drop.
Yeah, same.
Pulls his skin off of his body to where he's just muscles and every bone and everything, and he's just sitting there looking around and he just drops.
Yeah.
And it's just piled. I'm like,
all right.
And Wolverine's like, "You idiot, you killed him, I'm killed." Wolverine is funny in this movie.
I think Wolverine's the funniest character in this movie. More than Deadpool. So.
Nice pool.
How can I forget?
Sorry.
Sorry.
But we'll get into that. So you get that. She gets this really cool scene where she takes Wolverine and like throws him through the ground and drags him.
Oh yeah, he sees like claws like go through. Yeah.
And so she tells them basically tells them that you could stay here in the void, blah blah blah. And Eliath shows up, the cloud monster, which Loki makes a stupid joke at one point where he was like, "Is that Eliath from season 1, episode 5 of Loki?" I'm like, bro.
Yes, it is.
But he shows up and she says you can either be his meal or rent, and rent's due. And so you get that. Wolverine activates a Sentinel leg, and they get on that and they fly off. They land, and that's when they meet. They go to the diner. Sorry, I'm trying to like go in the right order. I feel like I'm like still at the beginning of the movie, but I feel like I've described 40 minutes of it so far. They go to the diner. You have that whole scene. They leave.
They explain to each other like Deadpool's like, yeah, you're pretty much a big shot in my universe. Yeah. He's like, on mine, he ain't. I ain't nothing.
He drinks rubbing alcohol.
Yeah, kill them liver, kill that liver.
But anyway, they go walking. He's telling him about Laura X-23. They name drop her as X-23. And they're talking about Logan. And then they hear a bark. And Dogpool comes running up. And Deadpool, Lady in Red's playing. And
I loved it.
And Deadpool is like in love. The whole... Oh my god. Every time they cut back to him, he's like getting licked by this dog. And he's like licking back sometimes. Yeah. Oh my god. I hope Dogpool stays. I think he was in the... He was at the ending, so I assume he stays.
He was
she there. Stays, the girl.
Yeah. She stays.
But they meet that, and then you meet the owner, Nice Pool, who's a Canadian Deadpool. Like, full-on Canadian Deadpool. Long hair, no mask, long hair, no regenerative ability. He's just a Canadian.
Yeah.
And you meet him.
Sorry.
Every time he shows up, he's like, "Oh, sorry." It's funny.
It's like Ryan Reynolds, like, no mask. It's so funny.
And so you get all that. He shows them his car, which is a minivan. Deadpool wants to take the dog. Wolverine doesn't let him. And Nice Pool takes the dog. They get in the minivan. They're driving. You get the scene where Deadpool's like talking to him. about all kinds of stuff, and you get the
scene. It's related to nothing.
No, he just did it.
He just did it just to rile my feathers, I guess.
Yeah. And then you get the thing where Deadpool basically tells Wolverine like, it's a educated wish that uneducated.
Well, he finds out, he's just like, yeah, if we can get your picture home.
Yeah, and then Wolverine gets mad about that. You get that really good scene. I know you've not seen it, but Prisoners. There's a scene with Hugh Jackman that is just like that, except he acts better in Prisoners. But he acted really good in this, where he's yelling and in a car to the other like guy that's with him, and he is like yelling and giving this performance. It is so good. At the end of it, I looked over, I was like, "Dang, Hugh!"
He lays into it. It's great.
But you get that. You get the whole thing where he like starts insulting Wade. And he's like, "You're an idiot" or whatever, and all this stuff.
No wonder you can't keep. No wonder you can't save a world. You can't even save a relationship. You know, you're worthless or something.
Yeah, and Deadpool's like, "I'm gonna fight you now," and he's like, "What?" And he punches him in the face.
Right, nosebleed,
and you get the whole fight in the car. Yeah. They hit the radio a few times. Greatest Showman plays. You get the whole fight. It was really good. After the end of the fight, somebody shows up, and I think at one point during this, his sleeves got ripped off. I wasn't paying attention because I leaned over to you and I was like, "When did his sleeves get ripped off?"
Yeah, I heard you say that, but you're like, "Oh, his sleeves get ripped off." I'm guessing it
had to have been during that fight because nothing happened.
Yeah, I want to say it was off when he was in that fight.
When I rewatch tomorrow, because I'm going to see it again tomorrow, I will collect that.
Yeah.
So yeah, someone steals the van. They wake up, and it's Elektra from the Daredevil movie, played by Jennifer Garner. And our theater did not react to that. I did hear the old lady beside me say, "Huh," but I don't know if she was wondering, like, "Oh, it's Jennifer Garner," or like, what?
No, I mean, I was excited, but like when you don't be the only guy there to go, "Woo!" It's like, don't get me wrong, I'm glad she was in the movie. Props to her.
But you get that, and then you get the next one.
Everyone screamed. Well, not everyone screamed, but like everybody was like, "Let's go!"
And Wesley Snipes' Blade walks on screen. Oh my God!
Talking about the chills down my spine.
The salt and pepper like goatee and like oh man, I was like, I've seen one of those movies and I was just like,
that's enough.
Hype.
My favorite joke in this whole movie is there's a scene with him and Deadpool are talking, and Blade's like, he's like, "I don't really, I don't effing like you," and Deadpool's like, "Yeah, you never have," or something.
There was a line.
Call back to the Trinity.
He drops the R word. I'm not gonna say it, but he drops the R word.
Who?
Blade. I leaned into you and I was like, "You hear what you just said?"
Oh,
because he was like, he said something about read something, and then Blade was like he said, "Oh," and that's when Deadpool was like, "Oh, I see you're trying to get canceled."
Yes, I remember now. I was like, "Who said that again?" Like, I don't remember.
That's crazy. You get that, and then you get the third one, little playing card floating, and that happened, I don't know if
your favorite.
I don't know if you caught me when that happened. I was like,
yeah, I saw you did. I was like, I know exactly what this is,
and because I saw the card, and then Gambit walks in, and it was him in the classic costume, which I was not expecting.
Yeah, you can technically say he might be the funniest character.
He was fun. I got so hyped though when he showed up. Did people clap?
Some people was like, "Oh." Yeah, I heard one guy was like, "Channing Tatum."
That's like as much of an in joke as Nicolas Cage in The Flash was.
Yeah.
But Channing Tatum shows up doing the voice.
Doing the voice.
They call me the Gambit or whatever he said.
Name is Raymond Lamont. Yeah. Come Gambit. He does like the Cajun accent.
It was so funny because they make jokes about how you can't understand him, and he was like, "Who was your dialect coach?"
The Minions.
Yeah.
He says something about like,
which makes me think they did that on purpose.
Yeah, they definitely did it on purpose, and he says something.
I want him.
I swear it's something like mother's ball. Like I don't know. Like I don't.
He says some weird stuff. He was like, he's just saying stuff, and he was like, "Oh, I bet Johnny liked you." And they're talking about where's Johnny, all this stuff. We need him. They talk about Quicksilver, Punisher, Daredevil.
Deadpool constantly asks about. He's like, "Where's Magneto?"
Yeah, and they're like, "He's dead." And he's like,
"No."
The line where he's like, "Oh well," So it says Daredevil, and he was like, "Oh no, I'm so sorry." And Electro's like, "No, it's fine." It's
I
like,
was like,
okay.
oh, okay.
That's what Deadpool said too. He's like, "Oh, okay."
Okay, yeah.
And then they meet the fourth one, who we thought was Magneto, and they were like, "No, Magneto's dead. We killed him."
Well,
Oh, she killed him.
they ask about like his
Cassandra.
helmet. It's like, well, here, let's have his helmet. So,
That was after this, though.
that was after the
That was
okay.
after they meet the fourth member, which ended up being Laura.
Mm.
In that world, and which was a nice scene. No one clapped, but I guess everyone knew she's already in it.
Yeah, yeah. Only reason why I wasn't like, I mean, if I didn't know she was in the movie, I would have screamed. But like, you see in the trailer, I was like, oh, okay.
You get that. You get her in there. She's kind of like their leader almost, a little bit. And they get a plan. They're like, well, if we can't use Magneto's helmet to get rid of her Cassandra's mind stuff, we'll use Juggernaut's because it works the same way.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, let's all go to the base and take them out. And Wolverine's like, you're all gonna die. And Wolverine goes off. He drinks by himself. Laura walks up. You get that nice scene between them, and he gives his kind of backstory.
Explains. Yeah.
It says Jean's name as well, which he didn't say in the trailer. I clocked something that I guess maybe was an issue with the editing, or maybe just something they forgot to put in the movie. In the trailers, that scene goes, "You were always the wrong guy until you weren't." In the movie, in that part, she says, "You were always the wrong guy," and then just walks off.
Mm-hmm.
But then later in the movie, when it calls back that line, when you hear the echo, she says, "You were always the wrong guy until you weren't." And I'm like, she didn't say that.
So I wonder if
she just didn't say that. She just walked off. So like, I don't know what that. I think that was just an editing issue, but I clocked that.
Yeah, I noticed that too. But I was like, maybe
there's really not an explanation for it.
Yeah, I was trying to think like maybe she said that, but then it cuts away, and then she said like right after it cut. I don't know, but that's strange.
But anyway, you get all that. They drive to Cassandra Nova's compound, which is a giant Ant-Man corpse, which is cool looking. And they get there. You get the Blade joke where he's like, "There's only ever going to be one Blade. There was only ever one Blade, and that's all there ever will be." And Ryan Reynolds looks at the camera.
Yeah. Which is funny in different ways you can look at it.
Yeah.
They still haven't made this Blade movie, so there might be only one Blade. Or, it's funny, it's like, oh, yeah, well, there's a new Blade movie about
to come out. 2 Blades. There's a CW Blade.
You see, that's the third way you can look at it. There is another Blade.
But they're there in the car. They get there. They all step out. They're getting ready to fight Cassandra Nova's stuff. All her people. And they got to take out Juggernaut. Wolverine gets out of the trunk. You get that whole nice scene. They're all ready to fight. And Laura puts the sunglasses on, the ones she got from the gas station.
Yeah, from the gas station. And
they all start fighting. Gambit is going crazy with those cars. He does like the whole like thing.
Oh, yeah, that part was cool.
He gets a staff at one point. I mean, I leaned over to you and I was like, I guess he doesn't have a staff. And next thing you know, he has a staff. I'm like, where did the staff come from?
He stabs the guy from Punisher.
Yeah, and it gets you charges up his like insides. It just
like,
blows him up.
He says, does he say also like, don't you forget it?
I don't know.
Name's Game, don't you forget it? I can't remember what he said.
He didn't know. He didn't say that. I would have got that. Anyway, all that's going on. Deadpool and Wolverine going into Cassandra's place or whatever. I guess try to. What was the plan? Kill her?
No, the plan was to get them to send them to his universe.
Oh, okay. They wanted to go back.
She can do that.
And so they get there, and she takes out Deadpool, takes out Wolverine. Or not Wolverine, she's like messing with Wolverine's mind, telling him, oh, you could be who you want to be here. And he's like, no, I'm a hero. I want to be a hero. And Laura, they're getting their butts kicked down there at the bottom. They get stabbed and shot and all this stuff. Laura takes the bag and throws it up there, which has Juggernaut's helmet in it, because she kills him.
Yeah.
And they put the helmet on Cassandra. It stops her power. She gets shot a bunch by Pyro. Mm-hmm. Who is it's working with Mr. Paradox.
Yeah, which is revealed, yeah.
Yeah. And then Wolverine decides to save her, like Charles would want. Mm-hmm. And she opens up a portal. She mentioned she killed a Doctor Strange. She has the ring. She opens up a portal.
Sling ring, yeah.
Drops them back to Deadpool's Earth.
Which they have to take out the bomb.
Yeah. They've planted a Time Ripper, which is going to destroy the timeline. Yeah. They're there. They go. Okay, what do they do once they get back to that Earth?
They go there, and then they're trying to find the thing, and then the guy from the TVA comes up, and tells them like you're pretty much like you're too late.
Well, was that when they got there?
That's what it says they got there.
Okay, so
then that one lady, then the villain comes in.
Yeah, Cassandra Nova shows back up in
Yeah.
the portal, and she gets in Paradox's mind, goes down there to the machine, and she's trying to destroy this timeline. Basically, she wants the void to be the only thing that's left.
Yeah.
And Deadpool and Wolverine are there. Portal's still open. Dogpool comes running out. He gets all excited. There's a slow mo of Dogpool licking his face, and Wolverine's behind him looking at him. I thought that was fun.
Yeah, he like looks grossed out.
And then you get the sweet moment. He was like, "I'm never ever gonna leave you again," and then you hear "sorry," and he's like,
"No." She keeps running away.
Yeah. But they get him killed. Nice pool. Pretty horribly. He's like hiding on all the Deadpool corps show up. Lady Deadpool, Kid Pool, Baby Pool, Cowboy Pool, Head Pool, Samurai Deadpool, all the Deadpools.
Yeah, all the Deadpools.
Samurai Deadpool was kind of cool. Peterson.
He has like baby hands because he got cut off. Yeah,
that seems funny. But they get there. Deadpool uses Nice Pool's body as a shield. And he gets absolutely wrecked. I don't know how he was even still. He was like, "You're not walking. You're dead weight." He was like, "I'm paralyzed."
Oh yeah.
And then he gets his head blown off. Deadpool runs over to the donut cart.
It's practically a first aid.
Yeah, and Wolverine gets holds the dog up, and everyone stops. And he gets up, and everyone's just kind of looking at him. And they walk over there, and they have like a moment like, "Okay, we got to do this." He's like, "I'm going to kill 100 of you." That sounds great. And they walk out to Madonna playing, and they're standing there, and Wolverine reaches back, and he does this, and he puts on the cowl with the mask. Oh man.
Yeah, this bad boy.
Yeah. Looks so good.
It looks good. The animated the eyes, the move, and it looked good. I'd say so. So any person on Twitter telling you it didn't, they're lying. So
yeah. And so you get that whole fight. It was a really good fight scene too. It's kind of like a hallway fight almost.
Yeah.
But in a street, and they're killing Deadpools, all these Deadpools.
Oh yeah.
And at the end of it, you get Baby Pool just sitting there like laughing. He's like, "What are you laughing at, you little?"
And then all the Deadpools come back out.
Yeah. And then Peter shows up in Deadpool's actual costume.
Yeah.
And he's everyone's like, "Peter." And then it's like everyone's praising it. "Peter, oh my gosh!" And he was like, "Enjoy my Peter," is what he said.
Yeah,
and that's a double entendre.
Yeah.
I know. But they go to the subway. Paradox tells them, "You're too late. Whatever you're going to do, it's matter in there. Once it hits your body, you'll get vaporized. You're not going to survive this." And they decide to go anyway. And Deadpool tries to sacrifice himself. But Wolverine was going to, actually, right?
Yeah, so they go down there. I think originally it was Deadpool's intention to do it. Then Wolverine, goes in there. He's like, "Hey, she's in the picture. He's like, you got a lot to live for. Let me be a hero." And
he says, like, "Say hi to your friends for me." And then Deadpool does it instead. Yeah, and he has keeps coming back to the window. He's like, "Man, that's so hard to die."
He comes in, does the stare thing.
Yeah. And then Wolverine's trying to get through. Deadpool grabs the one of the cords or whatever, and he's like killing him. And he can't reach the other one to get the current going.
Things going down quickly.
Yeah. And it gets like really close to the end, and then Wolverine shows up, grabs his hand, and stabs the thing. And they're sitting there both taking it, rips his shirt off. And I'm like, I was like, he looks at the abs.
He looks at the abs.
I'm like, that's what he worked out for, was that scene.
Just for that one scene.
But the timeline's going up and down. Cassandra's still trying to do that. Eventually, they fix it, and it explodes. She dies. Assumedly, at least. And you thought to think that Deadpool and Wolverine died. And B-15 shows back up, and she takes care of Paradox, and then Deadpool and Wolverine come back. Well, they come back before that. And you get the whole scene where they're talking back and forth. Peter and B-15 have some strange romantic exchange.
For a minute, yeah.
I was very...
Everyone loves Peter.
Yeah.
Everyone loves him.
It's Peter. Anyway.
It's Peter. Hey, everyone loves Peter.
Oh, Jesus. And you get all the stuff going on. She's like, "Amanda, you look good in that suit." And his pause. And then And then Paradox goes, "What is going on?"
Yeah, the hell's going on?
And they arrest him. She tells Deadpool and Wolverine, "You may be needed again if you're able to save universe like this. We might need you again." Teasing, obviously.
Follow up or something.
And so he's like, "Well, there were some people that helped us get to where we are." He's like, Can you maybe let them come back too?" And she says, "We'll see." And he was like, "What about people in Wolverine's world or whatever?" And she was like, "Well, those people, what happened on that world, his past is what made him who he is, what made him do this." Yeah. She said so.
And it's also revealed the timeline is now straightened.
Fixed, yeah.
Yeah, fixed. So there's no reason to prune it or it will ever go away.
So you get that, and she brings, and at the end, you get Deadpool and Wolverine sitting on a bench together. Dogpool comes back. He keeps him, or her. Sorry, I keep thinking it's that guy. Anyway, Wolverine, he's like, "Well, I'll be, will I see you around or whatever?" And he was like, "Nope." And he just
walks off.
Yeah. And then they go back to eat at his place. You see Blind Al. Him and
the joke of Wolverine's all like, "You call your roommate Blind Al and she's blind?" And he's like, "Yeah."
Yeah, that's funny. But you get the whole nice dinner. Him and Vanessa. He did have Dogpool because he hands Dogpool to Wolverine. Yeah. Trying to get back with Vanessa. And Vanessa and him kind of have a moment. They get back together. Everyone's happy. Laura is there, strangely. I guess she was one of the ones they brought back. I wonder if Gambit's brought back. And Elektra and Blade. Interesting. I don't know. I'm interested to see what they do with that. Yeah. And then the movie ends with a shot of Deadpool and Wolverine's masks together. Yep. Except it was switched.
Yeah.
And that's how the movie ends. And then there's a post-credit montage at first of a bunch of behind-the-scenes stuff.
Playing the Green Day song, Time of Your Life. I can't remember.
No, Good Riddance. It's called Good Riddance.
Good Riddance, yeah.
That's funny. And it's showing a bunch of...
funny? I got the name
No, that it's called Good Riddance.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's like, thank God these movies are over.
Yeah.
But you see, like, Fantastic Four movies on there, X movies, Four Stick. You get the friggin' video... Yeah, get the friggin' video of the action figure of Wolverine. And he was like, "Oh, he's fast."
Yeah, I love that video. It kind of
there's some Stan Lee in there too as well.
I shed a tear.
I didn't, but it was nice.
That. I was just like, man, we watched all those movies, and you could tell, like, even if they were bad, you could tell people had fun making them. Yeah, you know, and so.
You also, real quick, there was a Stan Lee cameo, a couple of them, and one in the post-credit scene, and then one in on the bus.
On the bus,
it said Stan Lee Steamer. Which was a brand of
like. Which I'm like, why not the other Marvel movies do that?
Oh, sometimes they do.
Yeah.
But yeah, the first one's a montage. It was nice. The last one is Deadpool getting his proof that Human Torch said all those things, which was funny.
Because it's like a camera.
Yeah. And that was in the movie.
Yeah. Chris Evans had a line that said he'd gargle Juggernaut's nuts.
Yeah. It's Juggernauts is what he said.
Juggernauts.
Oh my God, what a movie! What? And honestly, I mean, what a movie! It's a wild movie. Is it a perfect movie? No.
No, far from it.
Is there some stuff that I wish was in the movie that's not? Yes.
Yeah.
Am I happy though? Yes. I
was satisfied. If there's one thing I wish, I mean, I don't know if this is if it would really fix a lot of things.
I want to know what they cut from the movie.
I'm willing to bet, and I wonder what was supposed to be in the movie.
Yeah. Because it's strange that Halle Berry dyed her hair white as soon as they start filming. Like, that's weird to me. But also, nothing ever came from that.
Like, nothing ever came from that. Why were they wearing a bunch of visors during filming?
Yeah.
You know, like, surely they didn't.
I don't think they cut that. I think that might have been just a joke.
Yeah, I wish like Jason Marsden's Cyclops was in it, but maybe who knows? Maybe they're saving it for Avengers 5 with Secret Wars or
Could be.
Something.
We have no idea who's coming back. Like Ang Lee Hulk, Ghost Rider.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I wasn't like, oh, this movie sucked because the cameos weren't in there.
I would say there aren't as many cameos as I thought there would be.
I'd say there's more cameos and
there are a lot of cameos.
There's a lot. I'd say
there's more than in Multiverse of Madness. Because that only had 4 or 5.
I was gonna say it's about the same, is it not?
No. Because Multiverse Madness had the 5.
That's true. Because I was trying to think.
And then this had a lot.
Sabretooth, Pyro, Toad. Yeah, it's already
Human Torch, Blade,
yeah, it's already
H-23. I don't know if you want to even count those as cameos because they had decent roles.
They had decent roles. So, I mean...
They had about the same roles, well, I guess, that the Illuminati
everyone had a perfect amount of screen time, I'd say. I'm pretty sad. I was satisfied with the movie.
I'm seeing it again, so I'm going to get all the stuff that I missed.
Now...
Because people were laughing. It was loud.
Let's ask. The big question.
Okay.
Is
DC back? Sorry. Wrong question.
We done knew that. We were talking about this week's episode. We were less tired.
I almost fell asleep sitting here talking.
Is this the best X-Men movie? I'm gonna say it does a lot of... You think so?
Yeah.
Oh, better than Logan. Logan has some...
No, this is better Logan.
Look, I was entertained the whole time.
Because this is like an X-Men.
Now, I do want to see another one.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to see it again, which I am next weekend. Shout out to Eden Drive-In, by the way. I got free movie tickets from them and their drive-in theater.
That's fun.
And so that's what I thought. So I'm very excited. I want to shout them out real quick. I want to see it again.
Did it save the MCU?
Oh well, yeah, we're back.
Until we're not back, and when Agatha comes out, and then we're back. Yeah, but then Thunderbolts, so we're not back, and then Fantastic Four, we're back.
And
then Blade.
We better for like Secret Wars, Deadpool, Wolverine. He's like, we're so back.
Let this man cook.
Let this man cook. Talking to Blade when he said that. I'm gonna say I want to do another rewatch before I fully give a final answer, but I'd say it probably might be. I mean, it might be the best X-Men movie. Seeing Wolverine with...
Yeah, that just makes it the best X-Men movie.
It made it so good, and it was... Oh.
I already know my rating to this, and I'm also kind of in agreement with a lot of what I've seen online, rating-wise, today at least, tonight. I'm going to give this movie an 8.
See, I feel weird giving it an 8, because I rated Deadpool 2 and all that higher.
So this is not a 10. This does not rank...
See, it's so weird with movie reviews because I could rate something lower, but I'm like, this is the best thing, though. You know, because it has... I feel like I agree with you.
But also, like, it's an 8.
I do think it's better than Deadpool 2. I probably rated Deadpool 2 probably a bit too high. Deadpool 2 is probably like an 8 instead of a 9. This movie is great. I guess it is the best villain out of the trilogy.
Yep.
It does a lot of things.
I think it's the best story out of the trilogy.
What had the best music and score?
2.
See, 2 has a lot to do with that, with the music and stuff, and I really enjoyed that.
This one had glamorous.
We kept just singing that part.
But yeah, it's an 8 for me. Very, very good movie. I'm seeing it again, obviously.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely excited for that. I hope everyone out there loved it just as much. And if you didn't, I mean, let us know why. Some thoughts and obviously spoilers in the comments if anybody. If you are watching this and you're afraid of spoilers, I don't know what you're doing because we just spoiled the whole thing. Literally everything.
No. They're hiding something.
But yeah, and that about wraps up X-Men 97 and Deadpool and Wolverine. This is the last MCU review.
X-Men 97.
Shut up. I'm tired. It is 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, 2:56.
X-Men Mayhem. This wraps up X-Men Mayhem and Deadpool and Wolverine. Our last MCU review for a movie review for a while.
This year.
Yeah, until next year.
At
some point.
I'll be married by then.
Captain America, Brave New World, which we saw the trailer for opening ahead of...
why they cut the Isaiah scene?
Well, they added a new scene, because I wonder why.
I don't know why. Because you shoot.
There was...
oh yeah.
There was an attempted...
I forget, it happened last week when we recorded.
I don't know if it was last week.
Or 2 weeks ago.
But, yeah, so... we'll be back with MCU movie reviews next year. But yeah, with that being said, though, thank you all so much for joining us for this episode. Thank you all so much for watching X-Men Mayhem. If you enjoyed, let us know. We like doing these little watch-through series. We did it with Spider-Man No Way Home. We did it with this. Maybe we'll do it again with Superman next year.
Yeah, that's the one we're thinking.
But definitely, maybe we'll do it with Batman once Brave and the Bold comes out. I don't know. But
I wonder. I guess we're gonna do the whole MCU
eventually for Secret Wars.
When Secret Wars comes out, we're gonna have to do our reheateds.
God. That's talk about you talking about 13 movies is bad. 33 movies, maybe more.
How many weeks are in a year?
50 something.
So we're gonna hopefully have a date by then, so we might have to do a double at one point, just so we make sure we have time.
Anyway. But yeah. Hope you all enjoyed it. We're tired. We're gonna go to bed. But with that being said, we're gonna go. We will see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.
See ya.